Check it. Alright guys, what is up? You are back for another video. We have a banger video update for you guys. These are realistic price targets for AMC and GME based off the charts, the facts, and the data. Again, realistic price targets for AMC and GME. We're also looking at the bullish and bearish squeeze cycle. These price targets are absolutely going to shock you and surprise you. Watch to the end to get all of the information. I also give an reason why I give these price targets at the end and a way to use them. So check that out. You're going to want to watch this whole entire video without wasting any more of your precious time. Let's hop in the charts, the facts, and the data. Let's go. Alright guys, what is up? You are back for another video with DataZero. In this video, we're going to give you updated price targets based off liquidity, the recent facts for AMC and GME. These are going to be updated price targets for these two stocks. And yes, I do believe these two stocks could see a reverse, so I'm going to quickly explain that. I'm also going to be looking at the technicals, sell walls, liquidity, and much, much more, giving you guys updated price targets. Now, I'm going to give you a low, medium, and high range for each of these stocks, GameStop and AMC, and with that, you can use this to make brackets. Brackets should be based off of how many shares you have. You should break that down in percentage points, make at least 5 to 10 bracket levels, and use those ranges that I give you to do so. For example, $50 you sell 5% of shares, then $150 you sell 10% of shares, $250 you sell another 10% of shares, and then you go all the way up to 1,000, and then you leave 5 to 10% of shares for runners. For example, my brackets were like 150, 250, 500, 1,000, and I would sell about 25 or 15% of shares on each one of those, leaving a small percentage as runners, which you could try to sell. And you want to sell this way, not financial advice. Why? Because in a short squeeze, you see a rapid move up and then a rapid move down. For example, Mullen has just recently had a short squeeze and it went up to a 200% move. But if you look at Mullen right now, it's down to about only 25 to 30% up from the lows. Why? Because you see a rapid move up and then a rapid move down. Now, I'm not saying Mullen is completely done. It could actually make more movement. But as of right now, you see a big push up and then a big push down, and that's how short squeezes occur. And because of the bull bear macro cycle for AMC and GME, I believe that they could actually start going parabolic in their bull bear cycle, especially GME. GME is prone to volatile movements at any time. We've also seen AMC and both GME recently in history take off 10, 20, 30% out of absolutely nowhere. So they can start running out of absolutely nowhere, especially GameStop because of the lack of liquidity. So these stocks could literally take off at any time, and there could be a possible black swan event in 2024. I hope all of you are having a great Christmas, a great holiday, whatever you celebrate, and get ready because 2024 is going to be a great year filled with opportunities. The market's going to be absolutely wild. Let's go ahead and hop in this video. This video is not financial advice. Here are your updated price targets for AMC and a GME stock. Let's go ahead and first start with a GME and hop into GME, showing you guys price targets for GME based off liquidity, sell walls, and updated information. Now, the first thing I want to point out on GME's macro is that we have a falling wedge. Also, guys, I did put out a weekly update prediction. Go ahead and check that out for an outlook on what this trading week might look like. But if we go ahead and look at the macro, we can see that the weekly time frame has a green MACD, and the monthly time frame has a red MACD that is starting to curl up. Once the MACD flips on the bigger time frame to green, just like Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin is going into a new bull run. And let me know if you guys want a Bitcoin price target video for this bull run. I think Bitcoin is going into a bull run. Let me know if you guys want a price target video for that. Let me know down in the comments below. But anyways, Bitcoin has green MACD on the monthly time frame, and it looks like both AMC and GME are working on finally flipping their MACDs green on the monthly time frame. It seems like we might need 1 or 2 more candles, but it looks like 2024 is going to be the time where AMC and GME get a green monthly MACD, and that's a huge signal because that means bullish momentum has shifted on a big, large macro time frame, and this is exactly what you want to see. You're seeing also lots of volume coming back in AMC. You see these monthly candles of volume, lots of volume coming in at AMC down at these lower levels. I believe people are accumulating, getting ready for a move up. I believe that GME and AMC are in the V-shaped part of their depression phase. I believe that AMC is going to be a lot more drawn out because of the manipulation, but I believe that this slow bleed out to capitulation right here is what you see on the depression phase, slow bleed out to capitulation, and then both on GME, slow bleed out to capitulation. Both AMC and GME have these same structures, a slow bleed out into capitulation and an overall downtrend for the last couple of years. I believe that this is actually going to start to reverse. The MACD is going to flip, and both AMC and GME are in their part of their phases where you have this slow bleed out and then drop down, which they'll V-shaped recovery, pull back slightly, and then start to take off into a disbelief rally, and then moon into another bull cycle, hope, optimism, euphoria rally. Now, the fact that AMC and GME absolutely take off, these cycles could happen very, very quickly. So what you could see is a massive pump or two for AMC and GME, the same way you've seen here. If we go ahead and reset the chart, massive pump here on GME, and then a massive pump on AMC. You had one pump and then a pullback and then another pump. You could see a very quick cycle like that again. So you could just see a quick pump and then another pump. So let's go ahead and give you guys price targets if we do see a short squeeze based off of short interest, the facts, and data. This is going to be realistic price targets. I want to first point out that GME has enough short interest for a short squeeze as well, and these are possibilities that we could see a short squeeze. A short squeeze is like a cake with many ingredients to bake, and both AMC and GME have many of these ingredients, like a following of retail, people behind it driving the stock. We have short interest higher than 8 to 10%. We have FTDs. We have manipulation. We have price near all-time lows and near 32-week lows, RSI under 30 on the bigger time frames. These are all indications of a potential short squeeze. Now, short interest for GameStop is 23.79%, which is a high amount of short interest, and short interest for AMC is 9.14%. This is reported by Fintel. Both short interests are high enough for a short squeeze. You can see that FTDs are minuscule for AMC, but we are getting a bit of FTDs coming in for AMC as of the month of November reports. Now, FTD data is slow, so we only have November's data, but you can also see November shows about 250,000 FTDs for GameStop as well, and FTDs have been racking up all throughout 2003. And of course, AMC had this crazy boost of FTDs all the way up to about 45 million. The last time we seen a huge spurt of FTDs, we seen a massive rally. You've seen this rally here with that huge spurt of FTDs. And then when we seen the massive run up as well, I don't know if it's going to go back as far, but we've seen a massive fill up of FTDs as well. So both stocks have FTDs coming in, AMC a little bit less, but these are becoming a problem once again, and liquidity will dry up for AMC as well once you start to see these shares get less and less and less. They do have 3.6 million short shares for AMC, and for GameStop they have 200,000. This could change as of Monday. The big thing about GameStop, it is 48% of the shares locked up in computer share, and that makes the float very illiquid, which makes the price go very, very high. Now let's give you guys the first price target for AMC based off of the gaps. We're going to look at the gaps and also the V-shaped structure that you might see off of the chart. So you see this dip down and this push up. I believe that this dip down that we see for AMC could be followed by a push back to the upside. So if we go ahead and go to GME's chart or AMC's chart, you guys will see that there are gap fills. Gaps get filled 99.9% of the time, and there's gap fills all the way up here to this $37 to $43 mark, and that is actually going to give you your first price target. So realistically, you want to put your brackets somewhere around this level, below, at the level, or slightly above. Again, price brackets are for you to make. I will make a bracket video if you guys want. Let me know down in the comments on what my brackets are, but I'm going to base them off of these new price targets off of this video. So our first price target for AMC is going to be those gap fills at about $37 to $43. So we're going to put the first price target to make it easy at $40 for AMC. So we're going to type we're just going to type PT, so that means price target number one, $40 for AMC. So that's your first price target for AMC. price target number 1 at $40 based off of the gap fill at 33 and 37 and $43. Now we can see that AMC's been in an overall downtrend. We had this slow bleed out to capitulation, which is what you see here. Slow bleed out to capitulation. Same thing on GameStop. GameStop, it's very, very clear what you're seeing. I'll show you guys here. You have this anger depression bottom right here, and I'll show you that. Anger right here, and then it goes into a depression bottom. So anger right here, this double bottom, and then a slow bleed out to a capitulation, to a V-shaped style recovery. If you look right here, anger, depression, and if you look at the chart, very, very similar. Anger, depression. I believe that we're moving into our disbelief rally on GME, and then starting to change the cycles on the macro time frame as weekly MACD is green and monthly MACD is trying to flip green. So this is all good indications for GameStop. Let's give you guys the first price target on GameStop, and we're gonna base this off of the falling wedge, and there is also a gap on GameStop as well. So there's a falling wedge, which is a massive bullish continuation pattern. So you have an uptrend, then you have a falling wedge, and then you have an uptrend. So if we go ahead and look at GameStop, GameStop's breaking out of this massive falling wedge. It broke out, came back, retested it at support, and is now pushing to the upside. You could see this if I zoomed in on the smaller time frames, and I talk about it all the time. But we have a gap here at $37 to $39. So let's go ahead and make the first price target for GME between that level of $37 and $39, and we'll do $38 for the first price target for AMC. And again, this is realistic price targets, not to make anyone mad. You guys can think about whatever price targets you want. You guys can think how high it's going to go. These are just realistic price targets based off the technicals, facts, and data that we have in front of us. Now, we're going to put it at $35 just to keep it a nice number that we can remember. And this is based off the gap fills and the falling wedge. A falling wedge is a bullish continuation, which means you're going to break out of the wedge and then continue up. And then we have gap fills. Gap fills get filled 99.9% of the time. So let's go ahead and put price target number 1 at $35. And that is for GameStop. So we have our first price target for AMC and GameStop. GameStop is $35. AMC is going to be at $40. So that gives us price target number 1 to start making our brackets. And again, you want to make multiple brackets, sell on the way up a certain percentage, and then leave a small percentage for runners. That way you can try to catch all of the gains, because in a short squeeze, you see a big move up and then a rapid move to the downside, the same way we've seen here. AMC, big move up, rapid move to the downside. So you always want to be catching gains on the upside, and then that way you can play with those little ones at the top if you want, but that way you have a bag locked in, because the last thing you want to do is be holding through all of this and then have to wait a whole nother cycle. You do not want to have to do that. Now, also, I want to show you guys that AMC has a bullish divergence. This is why I think AMC will reverse as well. RSI is under 29. Again, multiple signs that we're going to see a movement back to the upside once the bear phase is over. But we need this MACD on the monthly time frame to change, guys. We need bullish momentum on the macro time frame. GameStop's breaking out of this falling wedge. It looks like it's reversing. All of these things are showing that 2024 is going to be a good year for meme stocks. Again, there was no chance of us squeezing while this MACD was red like this on the macro time frame. We're finally going to get a chance once we get that monthly momentum back, and it looks like both of these stocks are ending their downtrends, bottoming out in the bottoming process, and going to continue back to the upside here very, very shortly. Again, once monthly MACD changes. Now let's give you guys the second price target. The second price target for GameStop is going to be based off of another possible gap right here. It sometimes shows up on Webull and then sometimes doesn't. Right here, it's at $74. So our next price target off of this is in the falling wedge as well, because you have an uptrend, then you have a falling wedge, and then you have another uptrend. It's going to be $74 for GameStop. So we're going to say $72 for GameStop, and that's going to give you price target number 2. Now that's going to be the medium range. We're going to look at the high range, the next high range for GameStop, and this is going to be based off the charts, the facts, and the technicals. The data that we have, we also have 23% short interest for GameStop, which could absolutely send it flying. We're also going to be looking at all of this again. These are factual price targets. You need to do your own research. You guys can make your own price targets if you like. If you don't like these price targets, if you think you can go much higher, that is fine. This is not to burst anyone's bubble. This is just based off of data that we have here in front of us. So we have this gap fill at the $73 to $74. So we're going to put price target number 2 for GameStop at $72. So let's go ahead and go to GME and give ourselves the medium range of $72 for GME. And we can also see that there's sell blocks at that $34 to $35 range, right around there. And that would be a very, very good indication that people are going to be selling up there. So again, that's why price target number 1 is up there as well. We can see we have sell walls here on the bigger time frame at 50. And if we go ahead and zoom out on the monthly time frame, we do have sell walls at that $72 range. There's a huge sell wall here on these higher ranges, all the way up to about $120. And it's very, very unique because not every stock has these high sell walls like this. Both AMC and GME have sell walls all the way up to the top. That's very, very unique because if you look at other stocks on the bigger time frames, they won't show you that. So there's a reason why these sell walls are up here. People are waiting to take profits at these higher levels. I believe that GameStop's in a bullish falling wedge, about to flip momentum on the MACD. It's going to break out of that wedge and then continue up to a higher high. And why do I say that? You have a uptrend, then you have your wedge, and then you have another uptrend. So that is what I'm looking at for that and that reason. Let's go ahead and put in this price target number 2 at the 72. And it's going to be $72. And these are good price targets because of the sell walls. They will help you not get played as well. Now, let's go ahead and go into AMC, giving you price target number 2 for AMC, and then we'll do the final price targets for both. We can also see that AMC has a medium range here of about 125 and 175 based off of the sell wall. We can also see there is a sloping resistance for AMC as well. If it could break above the sloping resistance, you could see it pop to the upside. If MACD can flip, you could see it pop to the upside as well. And then AMC also has bullish divergence building huge. You can see that RSI is trending up while price is trending down. That is bullish divergence. If we go ahead and type in bearish divergence, it will pull up a diagram for you. And this diagram will show you both bullish and bearish divergence. When you see price trending down and RSI trending up, that's bullish divergence. It takes a while to play out, but when it plays out in a big way. This is a big move for AMC. As RSI is trending down, or RSI is starting to trend up, while price is trending down, showing that AMC is in the bottoming process. If we go ahead and zoom out on the monthly time frame, we can see that we have sell walls at 125 to 175. We are going to put our price target for AMC, and this is our medium price target for AMC, at $150. So let's go ahead and pop that in there. AMC, $150. Price target number 2 for AMC is $150. And again, these price targets are just realistic price targets. You guys can go ahead and make your own if you like. Now, obviously, we can see that we have a $275 to $300 sell wall here. The only way that AMC could get higher than this, I believe, and bypass the sell wall is if when we squeeze is that liquidity is so dried up. Basically, we need to wait till their shares sell out. And I have to make a whole video on this. But because they're selling shares directly to the banks, like Goldman Sachs and stuff like that, they have a huge war chest of shares, which they can use to short at any time. Once all of the dilution is done, once all of the shares are sold, and once those start to get in the market and get used and get cycled out and then start becoming FTDs again, once we start the FTDs start spiking again, once we see the cost to borrow start spiking again, once we see that liquidity start getting crunched, because once we've seen cost to borrow go up, and once we've seen the cost to borrow, the short interest, all of that stuff that we started to see right before they got the reverse split. And that's why they were so desperate, because AMC was about to explode and break the entire market. The short interest, the cost to borrow, everything was too high. 30% short interest. It was almost at like 101% cost to borrow. It was going to break everything. The numbers were out of control. Threshold security list for like 40, 45 days. It was going to break everything. That's why they needed the reverse split, and that's why they constantly have shares. I'll make a whole video about that if you guys want, to explain the whole concept and try to break it down. It is kind of complicated. I've been putting like pieces of it out there, so people that have watched my channel might have a overall understanding of it. But it's a complex thing on how they did the reverse split and the dilution add liquidity, and that's why they have all of these shares. But once these run out, we could see a massive pump past that sell wall. But the fact that they have all of this liquidity, all this dilution, they would be able to control a move, and this sell wall would greatly hurt us. So the medium range for AMC would have to be somewhere in between this sell wall. Do I think we could get past it? Yes, if we get short interest back to about 20 to 30%, I think we could get past this sell wall. And keep this in mind, because it's going to make sense on why I make the next price target for GameStop. But as of right now, this is the absolute highest price target that I could see for AMC. If it did get up to these prices, yes, it could get crazy, but probably shorts would probably start to cover at these lower ranges, pushing AMC start to run up, and that's probably where it would get to about this $40 level once shorts start to cover. So let's say AMC drops down to about like $5. I'm not saying it's going to $5 or the bottom's in. Once the shorts realize that the bottom's in and it can't go any lower, or if it dropped down and they get an opportunity to cover, say it dropped down and they had an opportunity to cover, it was like $5, and they cover real quick because they snap up that price, or they see that the bottom is in and it starts to form a bottom and go up, and then we start to get momentum and then they cover, that could drive price up to about that $40 to $50 level based off of the short interest we have right now, because it's at about 9.14%. The cost to borrow is very, very low, and the failure to delivers are very, very low. Utilization is only at right now for AMC at 47%. If it was higher, that would also help as well. We can see that utilization is at 85% for GameStop. Now, I'm not saying it won't be higher later on down the road as we get these candles built up and then get our green candles and it starts to build a wave, like a high wave for the MACD, so we can start getting our squeeze. You see how we got our green candles and then it started building a wave and then we started getting our squeezes. I'm not saying by then it couldn't be different and that will help us blast past those sell walls, but as of right now, this is going to be the highest price target until we get higher short interest, more FTDs, higher cost of borrow, and we start to see that liquidity dry up. So this is what I'm looking at for AMC. Realistic price targets, guys. Realistic price targets. It's going to be $333, a medium range between the sell wall. So we're just going to say $335 to make it easy to remember. So price target number 3 for AMC is going to be $335, and this is going to be the absolute highest range I believe it can go at this point in time. I'll make an updated one later, but at this point in time, based off the charts, the facts, the data, all of the numbers we have, the technicals, this is what I'm thinking for AMC stock. I do not have a bias between AMC or GME. This is just based off of the data that I have in front of me, the FTDs, the liquidity, technicals, everything that I'm looking at that I explained in this video. So those are your price targets for AMC. You can go ahead and make your brackets based off this. You want to make your brackets somewhere in between this range. For example, if I were to pull out a fib, it would have like several ranges here. You would have a bracket here, 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 and then you would sell like, depending on how many brackets is, that's how you break down your percentage, but you want to make sure you have like 5 to 10% left at the top. That way you can have your runners and try to sell them. But you would sell like 10% here, 10% here, 10% here, 10% here, 10% here, leaving a little bit at the top. Obviously, that's not the right percentages because I don't have the right numbers. I just did it off the top of my head to give you guys an example. Now let's go ahead and finish up the video with a GME, showing you guys what's going on with a GME and giving you guys realistic price targets based off the charts, the facts, and the data. I also want to point out that GME is in this falling wedge. There's an official falling wedge for GME. It officially broke out of it and then retested it. So if we go ahead and look on the weekly time frame, I'm going to try to pull this up real quick. It literally broke out and retested the wedge. You guys can see that it broke out of this. It broke out. It came back down, retested it, and then sprang to the upside. That is literally what you want to see for a actual falling wedge to be confirmed. I'm going to go ahead and try to see it here, but I talk about it all the time right here. You see that pullback, and then you get your price target. So you break out, you test that sloping line as from its resistance, and then you test it as support, you break out. It's been resistance for many years right now. We've been trying to break above it. Every time we try to break above it, we get pushed back down on GameStop. So GameStop is in an official falling wedge. Once that MACD turns green, this thing's going to absolutely launch. I believe that right now it's at the bottom and it's starting that reversal process, going out of that V-shaped recovery. It's going to pull back slightly and then absolutely start to take off. Again, once the MACD turns green, that's going to give us a lot of indications. We already see weekly MACD green. But I do believe that GameStop will be able to actually break this price target of 120. Also because GameStop has 23% short interest. And if we look at GameStop's utilization, it is much higher as well. This is showing us that utilization for GameStop is much higher as well. This is showing us that the liquidity for GameStop is much lower. So it's very illiquid. You can see that utilization is at 85%. Short interest is at 23%. And if we go ahead and look at FTDs, we have a little bit more FTDs as well, and the falling wedge. So based off of all the technicals and the numbers that we have, I'm going to give you guys the final price target for GameStop. We can see that there's a sell wall here from about $60 to $120. Based off of the falling wedge, I do believe that it could break past $120 for GameStop. Okay, I do believe it could break past that. So in this case, in this instance, I'm going to give you two high ranges. So the first high range is going to be 120. It's going to be the top because we have our falling wedge. It's a bullish continuation. You have your uptrend, then you have your downtrend. I do believe we could break into a higher high for GameStop, especially if we see some type of move past that $40 to $70 mark. This thing could absolutely start flying. That is your medium ranges for your breakout. And even if you use Fibonacci retracements, it would show you something similar. So if you take your high from your low, that will give you your price targets on where you could actually go up to. And you guys could see that the price targets I gave you are realistic based off of charts, facts, data, Fibonacci retracements, liquidity, FTD, short interest. So again, these are realistic price targets. And also the big thing I wanted to point out for GameStop is the fact that it had 46% of it locked up in computer shares. So I do believe GameStop could actually blast past the 120. There is a major sell wall there. So I'm going to give you this price target for GameStop at $120. That's where we're going to put it. We'll say 125 because I do believe it could go higher. So the official high price target is 125. I was going to give you guys a range, but I want to make it very clear and concise. So we're going to go with 125 for GameStop. Price target 125 for GameStop, and that's going to be your high range. And again, guys, these are just realistic price targets. I had much higher price targets back when I made my last price target video. AMC short interest was much higher. The liquidity was absolutely insane, and those price targets were about to $1,000 for both stocks. I do believe it was possible at that time for AMC to reach $1,000. I do not want to burst anyone's bubble. Again, you guys can make your own price targets. These are just realistic price targets based off the charts, the facts, the data. I want to keep saying that over and over and over again, because I know there's going to be people in the comments saying AMC can go to 1,000, AMC can go to 10,000, AMC can go to 1,000,000. That's absolutely fine. You guys can believe whatever you want. This is just based off of the data that we have in front of us. Speculation is fine. I can make a speculation type video where I could just speculate and say numbers and clickbait you guys and do all that types of stuff. But on this channel, we're grounded, we're realistic, we're focused. We do not want to get caught holding the bag, just saying diamond hand, diamond hand, diamond hand, while everyone else is selling underneath us and collecting the money. Me personally, when AMC and GME ran up, I took profits multiple times, especially when AMC paid me very, very well. I made a nice bit of money and was able to move out of a very bad situation because of the bag I made from AMC, and I want that for everybody. So that is why I'm making these realistic price targets, to give everybody a chance to make realistic brackets. That way they can take profits on the way up and not get burned like so many people have told me they have done. They've gotten burned when the last run. They told me they hold, and they could have had some crazy, insane, life-changing money and made some crazy moves with that. And I don't want to see that happen, especially if we see some type of move where a lot of people are stuck in these plays, or they feel like they're stuck in these plays because of where we are in the depression phase. I don't want people to get their last opportunity out. So this is why I have these realistic price targets. So you can make your brackets off of this. Again, examples for brackets, you want to make it in between these ranges. So you have your low, medium, and high range. You want to make it in between these ranges. So you want to put several levels in between this range, and then go ahead and make brackets selling a small percentage of shares, a small percentage of shares, 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 leaving a small percentage of runners where you can try to catch the price on the way up before it comes back down, because it's going to come back down fast. So you want to catch it on the way up, sell, 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 leave your runners, try to catch the top, play with those, gamble with those, but that way you already have a nice bag locked in, and that way you're not trying to catch the top, because you will never catch the top, guys. Greed will get you every time, and that's why I'm giving you guys this advice. Hopefully this video was informative. If it was, go ahead and drop a like. Press subscribe for more content like this. Remember, you can check me out on Twitter and Discord for even more updates like this. And as always, y'all, have fun, stay safe, make money. Peace out. Alright guys, that was the video. If you found it informative, go ahead and drop a like. Press subscribe for more content like this. And remember, you can check me out on Twitter and Discord for even more DataZero updates. The Discord is $50 for a lifetime invite, but it's $50 for a lifetime invite. It literally pays for itself. I give out buy and sell signals inside of the Discord, and people post their gains and wins, showing that it is a very, very profitable and help market support group. So if you want to get involved in that exclusive community, you have to hit me up on my email. It's DataZeroOfficial5. This information is linked down below. I also have a Twitter and Instagram as well. You can hit me up. Just ask me about the Discord. I will send you the payment information once you do. And once you pay via PayPal or Cash App, then I will send you the link to give you access to the server where you can get the buy and sell signals, where everybody is making the bread. Again, I gave out great buy signal on GameStop. We're making trades on AMC and SPY and much, much more. If you want to get involved, hit me up. Email link down below and in the comment section. And as always, y'all, I appreciate you, especially if you watched the end of this video. It was a longer one, but filled with information you need to know, especially as an AMC and GME holder. Hopefully you're having a great weekend. Peace out, y'all.